We're nearing the month waypoint now within Black Ops 4's lifecycle, which is kind of surprising already that it's been a couple of weeks already since the game launched. Feels like we were waiting for ages, but now that we're breezing through the time that the game has been live, one thing that I am incredibly happy that is still kept up with the community after this time so far is the resounding transparency that Treyarch has kept open for us. The line of communication on Reddit and constantly about updates and information coming out about the game has been non-stop, actually even almost daily to most points, where every single day we have something new from Treyarch as a community to read into and get a little knowledge of what's going to be either happening or what has already happened. And yesterday was no exception, because we ended up getting a blog post from them on Reddit talking about a little bit of an update that went live as of yesterday, but you might not have caught it, and that's okay. We'll explain why, some tunings with server performance, and some blackout stability issues that we'll be talking about all within this video, breaking it down here for you guys and let you know everything that really was updated out of yesterday's smaller update. So that said, let's just jump into it. Let's firstly start out with servers, because this is honestly a lot smaller than you might anticipate. As you guys may know, we did actually get an update to, in multiplayer, have 64 Hz servers running across the world, and that should by now be rolled out to everybody globally, so you should be experiencing 64 Hz servers. Blackout was shortly to follow in terms of getting that tick rate update, but one thing that was happening as of recently was that more so in the South American and South African servers, players were not having the best of performance within Blackout. And in particular, it was due in part because of server population. People would try and queue up for Blackout matches and they wouldn't connect to enough people, so matches just would not start up. Now, while unfortunately this is something that is largely in part to players connecting to different servers or those specific regions not necessarily having enough population at a time to play multiple Blackout games, or if it was a bug or something like this, this fix that was deployed as of yesterday should hopefully now fix out all issues of this, in which even if the player numbers were lower than the ideal of 88 to 100, the match still would load up. It wouldn't be stuck in a perpetual pre-game lobby. Additionally though, Treyarch did mention that while this fix was deployed, they're still working to perfect their vision of the networking and server performance for Black Ops 4 in the coming days, and they've been hard at work on it for the past couple of weeks here. So always a good thing, but as for the other things in particular outside of server performance, there are a bunch of smaller things here that were globally added in, but also some PC specific things we'll get to in just a second. As for those general fixes, Blackout globally got a little bit of performance resolutions for the Xbox One. It resolved an issue that caused hitching when playing in quads in Xbox One, so a more so targeted fix for an issue that if you're like me or play on PC, you probably didn't experience because, well, we don't play on Xbox One. So a smaller population was affected here by this, but that should be fixed out as well. In terms of miscellaneous fixes, there actually were some cooler things here with this, because one thing that you may notice now if you join a game late is that they finally added the message that would clarify that since you joined the game in progress, even though your team lost, it would not count against you. Now, this was something that was kind of a big talking point as of launch week and shortly thereafter, because people were being thrown into games that they joined late and they would lose and there was no indicator. But apparently, unbeknownst to all of us, it still never actually tracked. The system actually worked in place perfectly how it normally should, but we just didn't get the visual prompt saying that we were saved that loss in our stats. So that's now been added in as of yesterday's update. You should see that if you join a game late and you end up losing, it'll say loss prevented due to joining in session. So that was added in and we now have that visual clarity on it. There's some issues resolved with the end match screen in the top 3 of Gun Game, and now also players that ended up getting the Marksman Mastery Challenge will receive their XP rewards accordingly. That's something that of course you ended up getting a few thousand XP for completing that challenge, so while it might not be a ton in the grand scheme of things, it might not be enough to push you over to a prestige or something, it's still XP nonetheless that players should have gotten. So that was now resolved and players should be able to get that accordingly. Now the interesting part about this is it's the first of what may be many in the future PC specific weapon tuning and balancing updates. Now, if you guys remember, we ended up getting, of course, a massive update on Tuesday talking about a lot of different things, and a lot of weapons were touched on that tuning aspect. We had things like the ICR-7, the Vapor XKG, the MX-9, the Cordite GKS, SOG 9mm, pretty much every weapon, save for maybe a small handful of them, ended up having some slight adjustment, whether that be overall attributes to the weapon or specific attachments for that weapon ended up getting adjusted so that in some way, shape, or form, it messed around with how the weapon played in-game. But when we take a look at this, PC now went a step further and adjusted 3 different weapons that were already adjusted as of Tuesday's update. That being the SOG 9mm, the Koshka, and the MOG 12. Now, as for the SOG 9mm, the dual-wield SOG millimeter was incredibly popular on PC, as they stated, and needed a few little extra adjustments to it to be on a more competitive level with the other SMGs. The hipfire of the dual-wield operator mod was actually nerfed even further. That was something that was nerfed overall across the board on Xbox One, PC, and PlayStation 4, but we ended up seeing a further increase to that hipfire spread on PC now with this secondary update. Additionally, they lowered the maximum damage fall-off distance as well, meaning that we now have a shorter range on PC of how much damage can be inflicted up in that max range. So the most damage statistically the weapon can do is now in a much shorter range. Outside of the 9mm though, we ended up seeing that there was an adjustment to the Koshka, and this is where we start to get into some spots of I don't know exactly what 1-to-1 will be, if at all, within PC to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One tuning. Because the Koshka actually got an adjustment for the one-shot kill zone. Previously on PC it was the head only, but now it's the head and upper chest, meaning that that 140 damage that was recently buffed up to on PC, Xbox One, and PS4, the multiplier for that headshot was brought down so that you have the same potential of a one-hit kill within the upper chest, which we don't have currently on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. However, now with high caliber, it'll grant the one-shot kill from the chest and up every single time, which this overall change now is a slight variation to that of what we have on consoles. So we'll dive into my thoughts here on this in just a second, but as for the final weapon that was adjusted on PC, the MOG 12 was adjusted in which the barrel choke had a reduction to the one-hit kill range. That's something that they felt the barrel choke attachment performed a bit too well outside of its intended ranges. So that was adjusted as well, but we're gonna come back to my thoughts here at this is, I'm just curious how in-depth these will get each time that we end up having an update, because of course we've seen a bit of tuning here and there and some adjustments made on all platforms for UI errors, different features, other things considered, but for weapon tuning, something so integral and so important to the gameplay itself, just how much of a breakaway or maybe even imbalance in between gunplay from console to PC as the year progresses. Now, apparently what PC had already took into account the updates and some of the global changes to weaponry from Tuesday's update, but for the weapons that we just discussed, it kind of goes above and beyond. So while not every weapon has that massive imbalance between what works differently on PC versus console, there seems like there will be a complete meta difference between PC and console as the year progresses, which is interesting to me. I'm all for the absolute massive support and Treyarch's PC wing and the team working at Beenox with the PC version, not just port of Black Ops 4. There's already much more support than we've seen in previous years just from terms of developers actually working on it compared to what we now see with custom tailored patches. So hopefully this is the year that PC lasts all year long and perhaps even longer than just the standard year of the COD title. From my time playing on PC thus far, I haven't really noticed any issues with finding matches or player count, so hopefully this can stay like this. I know the PC community kind of has dwindled as the years have progressed, but it's definitely a good sign to see that support. I'm just curious to see how much of an imbalance it creates between meta play on PC and console. But the final thing that I do want to mention doesn't deal with this update whatsoever, but kind of want to put it out there for you guys that are interested. It was something that was released yesterday alongside this update, but not dealing with Call of Duty Black Ops 4 in particular, that being the official Call of Duty companion app. Now, why I bring this up and why you guys might be interested in at least checking it out is you actually get free COD points out of it. There's 500 COD points granted to your Black Ops 4 balance or overall COD balance. If you don't play Black Ops 4, you can end up getting 500 COD points for free just by simply logging in with your PlayStation account, Xbox account, or Battle.net account and linking that to your iOS or Android device. Now on that app, alongside news and things relating to Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and COD in general, you also get to track some cool stats as well from either your in-game playtime time as of recent matches. You can do friend comparisons. There's match analysis and things like that. Plus, you end up having the return of things like squads, which you can group up with up to 20 different members in a squad. And I think you can only have one squad at a time, which can be unfortunate if your friends want to be in other squads alongside whatever squad you're in. But with that squad, you can take part in objectives, which currently there's a voting process. It's about 3 days and a few hours and change left before the operation is actually made public. But right now it seems like in the lead is getting 4,000 combined kills in multiplayer, to which if you end up completing that, you'll end up earning 200 points towards the tier progress of the objective. Now, I think that is something that is cumulative across your squads so far, but once you end up ranking up, getting enough points for those tiers, you'll end up unlocking in Black Ops 4 the Ride tag, 20% off discount for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 performance thumbsticks from Control Freaks. Then you end up getting 2 hours of double XP in Call of Duty World War II if Black Ops 4 is not your thing, and then you can also get a rare supply drop in Infinite Warfare if neither of those two games are your thing. So there's a lot of cool things that will come along with this app as time progresses as well, but if you want to take part in the 500 free COD points now, or just to link up with some of your friends and see how you compare in the day-to-day gameplay that you may have, this is a great way to do so. But that said, that's where we're gonna wrap it up here. I want to let you guys know about that before we wrapped up the video, and hopefully you can take advantage of that as well. Not sure how long the COD point bonus will last for. My guess is at least probably a month or so while they start to promote this a little further, but maybe it lasts for literally ever. If you end up downloading it a year from now, maybe you end up getting that as well. But that's where we're gonna wrap it up, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of the PC-specific changes for Black Ops 4? Are you interested to see the imbalance in the meta like I am, or anything that else that may worry you or interest you about it? Feel free to let me know. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Call of Duty Black Ops 4, multiplayer, blackout, zombies. We got you covered here with the best of tips, tricks, news, information, best class setups, updates, information, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel. So anything that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys also want to follow over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected from outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation or whatever it is, link in the description below to check those out if you want to. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. My name's Nespresso. Take care and peace.